Sweet delay.
And in the east, which is the place of fire and spirits.
Hey everyone, Joe here. Alright, we're getting into the next build for the Mig series, which is going to be the Mig-19. Of course, trying to do it in 1/48 scale here, a trumpeter kit. I've got a couple of these ones, so it should be fun. We're going to do something a little bit different. I was hesitant to get started on this one because I just did 2 natural metal finishes and was kind of like, I like them. I do, but there's only so many in a row I want to do. So let me open this up and show you kind of what we're going to do here. Okay, you can see we are chocked full of parts. Some may be used, some may not, but because Brew Brothers always has their like Edward sale, I picked up a lot for the Migs, just in case. One are these exhaust nozzles. So the Edward Brazen kit. And then I picked up, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to use these, but these are the RS2s. They do go on Mig-19s, but I'm not sure if mine will have them or not. We'll see. I picked up the look set as well. So this is a nice little resin instrument panel, some seat belts, so that's kind of cool. We have some Mig-19 gun muzzles. Now, sometimes on these gun muzzles, these look okay, but a lot of times you can buy these and they are bent a bit, and because they're resin, and you can reshape them with hot water and stuff. It's no big deal. Sometimes they're not all that great, but for the price when they're on sale, you can't beat it. Of course, we have our mask here. Some decals, which I'm not going to open, and a pitot tube, so that's good, metal pitot tube, and then these little mask mark for like the wheelbase and stuff. I used them on the other one, and they were pretty cool. And then finally, this is what we're gonna do here, and this is what made me start wanting to go ahead and build it. Let me zoom in. I picked up this set of decals because it's an East German aircraft, and it's pretty cool. The color scheme, not gonna do natural metal finish. It's got an RLM 76 on the bottom, and then kind of RLM colors on top. I think this is a German sand gray though. I'll figure all that out, but basically we will be doing this 335 Mig-19, which would be kind of cool. It's something different. I've never done an East German aircraft before, so should be a lot of fun. That's what we got. I'm not going to go through all the plastic. It's a trumpeter kit, and I don't want to make this video super long. So we're going to jump right into it and get building. Okay, so I have the cockpit done and we've got the fuselage together, as you can see here. Didn't show off the cockpit. It's nothing spectacular. Not the greatest cockpit in the world, but I just kind of skipped over that part. But you can see that we are going to have some major gap filling things going on. So in order to keep this, you know, even, I basically glued this. The one deviation I've done so far is I took this front cap. You were supposed to glue it on right at the beginning to this whole uh, centrifuge, I'll say, and then put the sides on. And I've seen how that goes in the past, and it never works out well. So what I did is I put the centrifuge in. I glued the side cap to one side of the fuselage first, then put the center cap in, and then so I could match this other side up here so I wouldn't have a step. And in doing so, though, unfortunately, what you do is you leave a gap in the middle like this, which you can see is pretty large. And up in here, which is even larger. So this is spread apart now. And undersides, you have to put in some panels as well, these two here. And you can see they won't quite fit. So we're going to have to fill those in and rescribe because that's an actual panel line. And there's a gap right here. Just looks like the plastic was thin on one side. That's going to have to be filled in. So not horrible. Not horrible. It's just seems like trumpeter, and then when it comes to making a MiG, they just seems to be a problem. And the sad thing is almost all the MiGs are trumpeters that I have in the stash. But we'll get through it. So I'm going to fill these with some plastic first. It's too big for putty and super glue. But I'll put some strips of plastic in there, and then we'll do the super glue method after that. And some of these other ones I'll have to use putty here because I got to rescribe. We'll get to it and come back. All right, everyone. So we are finished with the Mig-19 in East German markings. Here's the final pictures, and let's just talk through some of the stuff. Didn't turn out the best. It's good from 3 feet away for sure, but definitely ran into some fit issues. Ran into paint issues, just issues in general. You know, probably self-inflicted. And after a while, this kind of lingered on the bench. I know it's been a month since my last video, but this has actually been in progress for maybe 2 months, if not longer, which is probably one of the longest builds I've ever done. It just, like I said, it lingered. And as it lingered, I lost interest, which causes me to be impatient. And that's a great question out there to all you modelers as well, is, you know, how long can a build be on your bench before you just kind of lose interest in it and want to move on? I know shipbuilders can do it for like an entire year. I don't know how they do it, but so probably rushed a bit on it. That's okay. It's going up on the shelf. The decals were horrible. So again, these were the print to scale, I think, or just print scale decals, and they were uber thin. So much so that as soon as they came up on the backing paper, they wadded up into an entire ball, and I had to put them back into the water. Luckily, they straightened out as soon as they hit the water, and then I put them back on the backing paper, and then you're trying to slide it off, and they were so thin that even with a gloss coat, they wouldn't move around. It was tough going. Hopefully, I've got all the German markings the right way around. Again, this is my first East German aircraft build that I've done. And it's not an exact match to 335. 335 is the pictures of it sitting out, and it's been real faded. And that probably would have been a lot of fun to do if I hadn't lost so much interest. So we did it as if it was kind of new. Did not put the resin R2s on because though I was having really tough issues with the railings and everything else. So, and in fact, I think I put the railings on this model incorrectly as well. It's been one of those builds, but that's okay. The paint underneath was RLM 78, the light blue, and then we used German brown, which is brawn, for the tan parts. And then what in the pictures of the decals is way, way off, by the way, by the real thing. The real thing is green, and it should have been like an RLM 80, maybe just a tad bit lighter, but I had chose to go with RLM 81, and that's more of a real brown green, but mostly brown. So then I came back with some RLM 80 to started lightening things up a little bit the best I could. I would have preferred it if it was a little bit lighter green. To me, this just looks like a Southeast Asian camo or Soviets and Afghanistan camo. They're all very similar, I suppose, but in the end, you know, it is what it is, like I said. And the front blue, by the way, those were AK real colors. And then the front blue, I used the AK acrylic deep blue on it and on the little middle intake piece as well. I'm starting to enjoy using these AK acrylics. You just got to get the mixtures right. Other than that, Mig-19 is done. That's you know, the next one in the series. We'll put it up on the shelf. It'll look good up on the shelf. And what we get into next, though, is the Mig-21. Probably my favorite of all the MiGs. It's a toss-up between that and the Mig-25. But that should be fun. We'll go back to natural metal finish, and have some fun with it. We'll see how it turns out. Probably won't weather it up that much. I just like the look of it. So that's what we got. I hope you all enjoyed this. Again, not the most stellar one in the world, but it looks pretty good. And we'll get it up on the shelf. We'll start in the next MiG series. And until next time, everyone, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe. Take care.